Welcome to edit 100, 120, 101, 124. Congratulations to the students who have started their e-portfolio. I have already looked at some of your wikis. Thank you very much for inviting me. This is a very brief video demonstration of what you need to keep in mind when you design your e-portfolio so that you make it as professional and as effective as possible. The thing that you need to keep in mind is the word user-friendly. So when you design your PowerPoint, you need to keep when you design your e-portfolio, you need to keep it user-friendly. Okay, that is the way it navigates, the way the viewer will navigate through your PowerPoint, your e-portfolio. So let's begin. What you need to do, what you need to achieve is, first of all, use the technology that is the e-portfolio technology, whether it's a Wikispace or a Weebly or Wix. You need to use the e-portfolio software, online software, to its fullest capability. You need to use the full creative potential of the technology. All right, so it will enable you to create an e-portfolio. So demonstrate your skills, demonstrate. So that leads to number 3, demonstrate your full creative potential. It's not just how you use the software, but it's also how you use images, videos to actually make your e-portfolio professional, which is point number 4, create a professional e-portfolio. All right, which leads to point number 5. A professional portfolio, e-portfolio, does not have any personal information. And you need to really work on that to make sure that the content, not just the videos and the photos, but also the content, demonstrate maturity and a professional understanding of the work that you will engage in once you graduate. And then to demonstrate your knowledge of the field of study that you have undertaken, you will need to use the reference. You will need to reference the literature. All right. It's easy to have an opinion. All right. But opinions are just that, opinions. You need to back up, or you need to support your opinions with facts and figures. And that means reading the literature. So let's look at what not to do when you are creating a wiki space. I'm sure you can understand what the problem is with this particular wiki space. Actually, this is a Weebly. All right. And what the student has done is that you can see home here, about me, ETSOL, activities, and reference list. This is very good. Then you have a title which is clear, it addresses the standard and know the content and how to teach it, right? Now, these boxes here have no meaning at all. So it's very sort of distracting. It also shows a lack of professionalism because, you know, this is not a magic game. I'm not here to guess where is the information. That's not my job. My job as a potential employer is to say, okay, this is clearly labeled and I understand where I need to go to find the information that I need. Now, it might sound strange to you, but think about the websites that you use. The websites that are the clearest are usually the websites you return to and you say, that information helped me. Websites that do not provide information, as in this particular case, are the websites you do not return to. Okay, so it's not just me and my opinion as a lecturer, but it's actually, as internet users, that's actually what we do. So let's look at a different style. This is also a Weebly, if I remember well. All right. Again, it's clearly focused. Focus is 1.2, understand as student learn. This is a very creative element, Australian teaching standards. Okay. Now, what happens in this case is that above, and you cannot see that, but above are the links. All right. And what happens is that when you click on the standards, the Australian standards, teaching standards list, what happens is that you will then have a pop-up or a dialog box that will come up with forum, teaching standard 4, teaching standard 5. In this particular instance, I clicked on standard 1, and you can see here that the student has clearly labeled standard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which means that when I then click on this one, I know exactly where I'm going. All right, so it's clearly labeled, and it shows that the students has made an effort to use the technology effectively, to use the Weebly effectively, and it works well. All right. So then let's look at a different style. This is with a wiki space. This is a wiki space. Now what this student has done very well is that, first of all, you see clearly able here the standards. I have a question up here. What do you notice and what does that mean? What you notice is that in here, all the titles are in blue and underlined. Now, if you think about what this means, a sentence or a statement or a label which is colored blue and underlined indicates that it is a link. However, with this particular Wikispace ePortfolio, these are not linked. The students just label them blue and underlined, which is a mistake because when the viewer comes here and clicks on it, nothing happens. So this is not the way a normal website behaves. So that means that this Wikispace will not behave the way all internationally designed websites operate. So it's not user-friendly. So what the students needs to do here is actually only put a link on the statement or label that is relevant and actually opens up and behaves like a link to another page. All right. If, for example, this is not a link, then keep it black. Keep it in its natural font and color. Do not change it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the content. Here you have a very quick preview of a text amendment, okay, and editing with Word document software. Now I'm not going to comment on this today, but that provides you with a viewing for now. What I'm interested in is the content at the top of the page. Now the labels are clearly provided, all right, and I'm reading this. All right, so what do you notice with this particular content at the top of the page here? You had enough time to read it. Basically, there's a lot of I. And I means an opinion. Now, it's great to have an opinion, but it doesn't really put your opinion within a professional teaching context or within the context of using a software. So let's look at these. So I believe that I believe the way the activity was explained and demonstrated contributed to my success in the activity. First question, how so? What was the activity or what were the explanation provided to you that have led you to understand how to complete this activity? First question. There's no information provided regarding that. I feel I have effectively, I feel I have effectively demonstrated all skills that were taught to me. Really? Well, what were the skills that were taught to you? And how do we know that you have effectively demonstrated them? You need to convince the reader that you have actually reflected on the skills. And you don't need to tell me all the skills that were taught to you, but you need to explain to me at least one skill. And if you select one skill, actually select the most important skill. It is clear to see how this could be used in marking, especially with all the primary students and high school students, particularly with regards to assignment. Again, how is it clear? I mean, the student here did not discuss the positive, the benefits, or the demerits, the challenges of actually doing a Word document evaluation of a student's performance. Next line. Not only does it allow you to provide greater target feedback, but it does so in a way that is neat. Again, what's so neat about it? This tool is also environmentally friendly. If work is electronically submitted, it is saving on paper. Is that really true? Is this statement really true? When you're going, because think about it, as a teacher, you're going to, you might receive an electronic copy. I mean, if you're in the primary sector, you might not be receiving an electronic work from a student. There's no guarantee of that. If you do receive one, then you're going to send it back to the students in a PDF form. All right. And what are they going to do with it? Are they actually going to read your feedback, or are they just going to leave it in their email box? And once they have the feedback, are they going to read it online, or are they going to actually print it? So, you know, as educators, we have to be careful of the statements and the claims that we make. And again, with these particular remarks, it's an opinion. It's not supported by evidence. It's not supported by any reflective reflection of a professional teaching environment, and therefore, you know, it's lacking maturity. It's lacking credibility. It's not convincing. Let's look at the next one. Similar. So the top is again very similar to, it's a different student, but as you can see, it's good. Myself, I complete my wiki space, I have the ability to invite others to view it. Well, that's very basic information. That's good, but it's very basic. It doesn't actually tell me, you know, the complexity and the challenges that you faced when you use the wiki space. Learning how to use this great tool really got me thinking about how I could use this in primary classroom. I concluded that only stage 3 students would be capable of making a simple one individually. Very good thinking. That actually demonstrates that the students have thought about which level they could use this technology to create a class wiki as well. I believe I can make my wikis appear very professional, and that it will indeed be used throughout my degree and career. Good, but when I look at this image, I don't, you know, when I see this page here in front of me, I don't see how it appears very professional. The content is not very professional. It needs more depth. All right, now let's look at the second part here, which is another reflection. Why would you reflect on your learning activities? As teachers, it is important to reflect on your learning activities in order to improve on what you have achieved in the classroom. Good introductory statement. In order for self-improvement in your teaching to constantly occur, it is important to reflect on the lesson that you have undertook. How is that sentence any different from the first sentence? Reflection is an important tool for teachers to utilize in their teaching in order for improvement to happen. Again, how is this any different from the previous line? Reflecting upon lesson is a good way to pinpoint what may have gone wrong or relish in what succeeded throughout the lesson. That's a different sentence, yes. Learning activities may appear to the teacher as being exciting and motivating for students, although this cannot be established until the activity is complete. What exactly does that mean? Okay, it's a little bit broad and general. Therefore, it is important to reflect on learning activities in order to establish whether or not the student responded in the manner in which the teacher was expecting. Again, it's fairly similar to the above. It's extended. There's a little bit more information in it, but again, broad and general. The next thing is there's no evidence to support this opinion. And finally, the last one. Here, the question is very simple. What do you notice? The answer is very simple. We have Keelan 2012, Keelan 2012 with a page number, and the reference is here. All right. Now, the only thing that I can say in relation to this reference is that it doesn't follow the APA style referencing. That's the only thing that I can say. However, this particular page demonstrates that the student has read the literature, has found something interesting in that literature that relates to their professional working environment, and has used it to support their opinion. This demonstration, this brief PowerPoint demonstration, hopefully will give you some ideas on how to make your Wikispace, your Weebly, or your Wix a lot better. Demonstrate the full potential of your creativity and of the technology. Thank you very much for watching.